In the golden light of dawn, the Marine Kingdom theme park shimmered. The humid Atlantic breeze from the New Jersey coastline danced across the massive main tank, where the park's star attraction resided. Gulls wheeled in the air, their cries a familiar soundtrack to the morning. Standing at the edge of the tank was Amelia Radcliffe, a young and brilliant orca trainer with a heart as vast as the ocean she adored. In her hands, a bucket of shimmering silver fish. On her face, a complex and beautiful mix of excitement and apprehension that she couldn't quite name. Today was the premiere of her new show, Beneath the Azure Shadow, and all eyes were on her. Amelia's love for the sea was as old as she was. She grew up in a small, weathered cottage on the coast of Maine. Her father, a grizzled lobster fisherman, taught her the silent language of the tides, and her mother, a revered marine biology professor at a local university, taught her to see the intricate, interconnected life teeming beneath the waves. The ocean was not just a place for them, it was a living, breathing entity. Her biggest dream had always been to connect with an orca, to look into the eyes of one of the ocean's most intelligent predators and find a shared understanding. The Marine Kingdom was the closest she had ever come to that dream. The largest orca at the Marine Kingdom was a magnificent male named NYX. His black and white body, a stark contrast of midnight and polished ivory, was a marvel of natural design. But NYX was different from the other orcas in the park. He was an enigma, often aloof and distant, a solitary king in a man-made domain. Most of the trainers had given up on him, citing his unpredictable nature and lack of responsiveness. They called him untrainable. But Amelia, with her relentless optimism and profound empathy, saw something else in his deep-set eyes, a flicker of sorrow, a hint of a hidden story. She was determined to reach him. For the last 3 months, she had worked with NYX, not as a trainer and a performing animal, but as two individuals trying to find common ground. Their training sessions were not about tricks and routines, but about building trust, one small, deliberate step at a time. She would arrive at the same time every day, not just with food, but with a quiet presence. She would sit by the tank's edge for hours, reading classic literature to him. Her favorite, Moby Dick, felt particularly poignant, the words of Melville a gentle hum in the air. She even discovered that NYX seemed to respond to music, and so she would play him Beethoven's piano sonatas through an underwater speaker, the complex melodies a bridge between their worlds. A strange, unspoken bond began to form. It was a trust built on patience and mutual respect. She never forced him to do anything, and in return, he would sometimes nudge her hand with his immense head, a silent acknowledgement of her efforts. It was a partnership, not a performance, and it was the foundation of what would be unveiled today. The day of the show was a whirlwind of anticipation. The stadium, a towering amphitheater of steel and glass, was filled to capacity. The air buzzed with the energy of thousands of spectators, their phones held high, ready to capture a spectacle. With a genuine, heartwarming smile, Amelia spoke into the microphone. "Today, you will witness not just a show, but a story," she said. The story of trust, of patience, and of the incredible bond between a human and a whale. Today, you will see the biggest breakthrough in NYX's life. At first, everything was perfect. NYX was magnificent. He leaped from the water, his colossal body a testament to power and grace, soaring through the air before he plunged back into the depths with a thunderous splash. The crowd roared in approval. Children screamed in delight, and adults captured every breathtaking moment. Amelia, dressed in her signature blue wetsuit, slipped into the water, and what followed was a synchronized routine of such fluid beauty that it seemed to defy nature. She moved with him, her body a small counterpoint to his massive form. It looked as if two beings from different worlds were communicating in a silent, perfect language. But in the next moment, something changed. It was subtle at first, a slight hesitation in NYX's movement, a ripple of tension that only Amelia could feel. Then, she looked into his eyes, and the warmth she had come to know was gone. In its place was a cold, alien glint she had never seen before. He suddenly spun around, his powerful tail a blur of motion, and with a swift, unnerving grip on her shoulder, he pulled her beneath the surface. The crowd, at first, thought it was part of the act, a dramatic turn in the performance. A few people chuckled nervously. But as seconds ticked by and more bubbles rose to the surface, and Amelia didn't reappear, a chilling silence fell over the stadium. The show music, once triumphant, now seemed deafening. Panic erupted. The on-site safety team and other trainers, their faces grim, sounded the emergency alarm. Security personnel and rescue divers leaped into the water, their movements urgent and frantic. NYX, meanwhile, was gone. He had vanished into the deep, dark part of the tank, only to surface a moment later at the far end, sending a cascade of water high into the air with a forceful slap of his tail, his gaze fixed and unreadable. 2 harrowing minutes later, a rescue diver located Amelia and brought her to the surface. She was unconscious, her face a pale mask against the brilliant blue water. She was pulled from the tank and onto the concrete, where paramedics immediately began CPR, their efforts desperate and tireless. But it was too late. The life that had burned so brightly, so full of love for the sea, was gone. The marine kingdom was closed immediately after the incident, its once joyful atmosphere replaced by a pall of grief and unanswered questions. The park was investigated, but no one could find a clear reason for NYX's behavior. NYX himself never performed in a show again. He lived out the rest of his days in the same tank, a silent monument to a tragedy. He would often watch people with a quiet, knowing gaze, as if he held a secret deep within, a truth that no human could ever comprehend. Years passed, and the event became an internet legend, a cautionary tale about the dangers of taming the wild. Some believed NYX had been startled by a flash from a camera or a loud noise and acted on pure instinct. Others were convinced there was a supernatural bond between Amelia and NYX, and that her final performance was not a show at all, but a preordained, tragic farewell. They whispered that the ocean itself had called her back. But one thing remained certain: what happened beneath the azure shadow, in those final, terrible seconds, was a secret known only to NYX, a story told by the endless, silent depths of his eyes.